Wow, that was so cool. Maybe not my animated graphics here of the coral spawning, but what we're about to talk about is definitely cool. Welcome back to Brent Underwater, where I share tips, tricks, and video tutorials to help you improve your underwater photography. And today we're starting a new series called The Story Behind the Photo, where I take an inside look at unique underwater photos and marine life encounters and the thoughts going through the photographer's head, and just a real inside look at what's going on in creating unique images from really unique moments in the ocean. So stay tuned, it's gonna be so cool. Okay, so what exactly are we talking about? Well, a few years ago in Anilao, Philippines, I was lucky enough to come across coral spawning and shoot a number of photos of that and butterfly fish feeding on the eggs, which was a really unique and unplanned opportunity. So like most nights, it started off where we were on the Bangka boat watching the sun set into the ocean. The clouds were starting to light up. Personally, I was a bit torn, as always. Do I stay topside and try and shoot some beautiful sunset shots, or do I go in the water and try and shoot some cool marine life shots? So, of course, we went into the water with our group and started descending down a sloping reef. And as we were going down, you know, the sky was pretty dark, the water was pretty dark at that point. We had lights on, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye, one of the last people in the group, that there were butterfly fish swimming around pretty excited. And we knew there was a storm coming. There's a little bit of electricity in the air, just those charged particles you can really feel. And I noticed those butterfly fish and of course swam off to investigate, went to go look and see what was going on. And they were swimming around this one coral pretty quick, and butterfly fish usually come in pairs of two, so that was normal. But usually this time of day, they're sleeping, they're pretty quiet, you won't notice them. So I was really watching, like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, as you start to see in these pictures, these little balls started lifting off of the corals, eggs that they're cast spawning into the water column on a dark night. So you've got the male and female components just being ejected. So you've got these eggs coming up there, then you've got the male components, and they're all mixing together, just starting to eject off of the coral. So it looked like essentially mini galaxies were forming with planets and, you know, asteroid debris fields off of this coral, and just start to cloud the water column and float off into the very gentle current. Mind blown. So as soon as I saw this, I knew it was very unique. I knew it was coral spawning, that we had the spawn coming up off of the coral. So I just started shooting photos. You know, when you're in the water, you want to take advantage of unique moments like this. And I had a Canon 7D Mark II with a 100mm lens. Now that's a crop sensor DSLR with a very long field of view lens for small macro critters. And with that perspective, it was tough to get wide shots of the coral with the fish and the full spawning, like you might see from some of the group trips that go to the Caribbean to shoot coral spawning. So I knew I wanted to create unique close-up photos of the coral spawning and of the butterfly fish feasting on all of those eggs. So I got down and just started shooting. I was using the pop-up flash at that point, so my strobe recycle time was a little bit frustrating. I was not using a TTL trigger or an optical trigger to allow the camera to shoot in a faster sequence through the strobes. I was basically limited by the onboard flash. So here I am in this moment, you know, everything's happening quick. I know it's only going to be a couple minutes, and I'm having recycle issues, not because of the strobes, but because of the camera pop-up flash. And then also I started working on these two shots, or several different shots, showing the butterfly fish eating the eggs. And I noticed at first that I got the eggs in focus, but not the butterfly fish. Now it's really tight. You want to use pinpoint focus on your camera to determine if you're focusing on all these eggs floating through the water column or through the eggs to get the butterfly fish in their eye. Keep in mind, it's dark, it's night at this point, and the fish are moving, the spawn is moving. So it is a tough autofocus challenge there. So needless to say, this dive was pretty exciting. I shot as many photos as I could during the time until the event ended. You know, went through, I was reviewing my images like I discussed in other videos, and then finally it was all over. Butterfly fish were still hanging around pretty excited, and I kicked off to go rejoin the group for the rest of the dive. So excited, I couldn't tell anyone what exactly I'd witnessed until we got on the boat. But we found some great subjects, we continued the dive, and I got back to my room later that night and started looking at the images. Pretty happy to have been able to witness that event, pretty lucky, and pumped to see what the next day would bring. So that's my story. We've got the coral spawning event in Anilau. Hopefully that's fun, that's interesting. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll have more story behind the photo videos coming up soon. Thanks for watching. See you soon.